It's Dan here, and it's time to announce Crimson Daggers Bloodsports number 14. I am going to be announcing this one solo today because, as some of you probably know from Facebook, it is Dave Raposa's birthday was yesterday, and he is traveling to New York right now to see his brother and to celebrate. So I'll be announcing this one solo. For anyone who did the last Bloodsport, which was Bloodsport 13, the Time Warriors one, with Keikai Kitaki as the guest judge, we're going to be judging that one in the next couple days, basically as soon as Dave gets back. But we got a lot of really good entries, and people did a really, really good job on this one, like really unprecedented turnout. So we actually need that couple days to go through everything, so just bear with us. We'll get it to you as soon as possible. Again, probably shouldn't take much longer than a couple days. But anyway, with that in mind, we really enjoyed the idea of having a guest judge. So this time for Bloodsport 14, I've put it up on the blog if anybody wants to go check it out right now. The reference images aren't up yet. I'll be putting those up after I get off of here. But I put up all the important details for anyone that wants to follow. Bloodsport 14 is going to be called BeastMasters. And what it is it's going to be a card art competition rooted in character design, specifically a character that levels itself up. So I'm sure you guys have seen lots of card art lately from companies like Applebot. I mean, this goes all the way back to old video games, old card art. I mean, even like the Pokemon card game. Like, the idea that a card can like level itself up, have a more impressive version of it, is becoming a much more popular thing now because it's so easy to do with iOS devices or portable devices, where the card can just shift and become a more advanced version of the previous illustration. So what we want you to do is, within this universe, this very loose kind of IP we created called BeastMasters, we want you to create a character who's wearing an armor or has a design that reflects the creature he turns into. So think of it as like, you know, the old toys they used to sell in the 90s where like a guy would turn into a shark and that was his thing. He was the guy that turned into a shark or whatever. We want you to then design a suit of armor for the human that reflects the animal he turns into. So the example I put on the blog is a guy with like a lion breastplate that's all intricate and stuff would turn into a lion. But the important thing I want to stress for everybody who's going to be doing this is that it doesn't need to be a real animal. It can be a monster you make up. It can be an established fantasy creature. It can be a dragon. It can be a unicorn. It can be whatever you want it to be, basically. There's no limit on what the guy turns into. The only caveat is that whatever he does turn into has to be reflected in his armor design as a human. So with that said, there's one other thing I want to point out, is that this is technically 2 illustrations you're going to be turning in. And while that sounds like a lot of work, I want to emphasize that you can just do 1 illustration of the guy wearing the armor and then paint over the guy in the armor as the creature, or put him on a separate layer, get rid of it, put the creature in. So even though you're going to be turning in 2 illustrations, it's really just 1 illustration with some minor tweaks. Now, if you think you can do 2 full illustrations that are totally different in the 2 weeks we've given you on top of whatever else you have going on, by all means feel free to try that. That's a lot of work to get done for 2 weeks, especially if you want them to be of any kind of quality. So I would recommend, for those of you that maybe don't have all the time in the world, to just do 1 illustration and then put the beast, you know, the beast mode of the character on another layer. So things to think about when you're doing this: obviously you might want to look at some of those card games, you might want to look at old toys, you might want to think about, like, you know, like the Altered Beast games, like the old Sega one especially was a big influence in this. But we really don't want you to think that this has to be like an Animorphs thing or something boring where it's like the guy turns into a snake. Like, it can be anything you want, it can be as cool as you want, and what this is going to do is it's going to force you to hopefully design a creature, design a really cool set of armor for the guy, and give you 2 illustrations for your portfolio. So really you're hitting 4 things. You're getting 2 pieces for your portfolio, or I guess 2 versions of 1 piece. You're getting a cool character design and a cool creature design. Okay? So big things to think about: character design, armor design, creature, and composition. Composition has to be very powerful for these because they're going to be card art. Something to keep in mind. But there's basically tons of freedom with this one. You can really do whatever you want. And the cool thing is that we've got Anthony Jones as the guest judge for this. So this is going to be due Friday, I believe April 5th at 5 p.m. And Anthony Jones is going to be looking at the work and judging the winners. So, for anyone who did the last one, Time Warriors, Keikai Kitaki is going to be judging that one in the next couple days with us. And for this one, we've got Anthony Jones coming on to look at your armor designs, your monster designs, and your card art in the next two-ish weeks. So it's going to be really good. Anthony is awesome, and you guys all know his work. And if you don't, there's a link on the blog that goes to his work down at the bottom where I say that he's the guest judge. You guys might know him as Robot Pencil. But yeah, so that's basically the outline. Any other questions you have should be on the blog. I outlined it in a lot of detail like we usually do. The wall of text, the very professional Crimson Dagger Bloodsports blog. Not really, but yeah, so hopefully you guys have fun with this. It's a bit more work than you might be used to if you do two totally separate illustrations. But even if you just do one illustration and you switch the layers for the character from the knight or whatever you're going to do in the monster, it's going to give you a lot of practice on a lot of different things, and it's going to give you some really solid stuff for your portfolio. So with that in mind, good luck to everybody. Hopefully we'll see some cool stuff on the forums. Really awesome turnout on the last challenge, and hopefully it'll be just as good for this one. So yeah, thanks to everybody who did the last one. Thanks to everybody who's going to be doing this one, and I look forward to seeing what you guys turn out. Yeah, good luck, and I'll talk to you guys soon.